Hello, and welcome to President Pat's podcast at North Shore Community College. I'm Dr. Pat Gentili, proud president of North Shore Community College in Massachusetts. Students are truly the heart of North Shore Community College. So today I am just delighted to have three of our stellar student leaders here to talk with me. Please welcome Jamie Perry, who's our student representative on the college's Board of Trustees, Seth Grosz, Student Government Vice President of Finance, and Larissa Louissaint, Student Government Vice President of Culture and Inclusion. Greetings and welcome to all three of you, and I'm looking so forward to talking with you and having our listeners learn a little bit more about you, what you're doing, and the Student Government Association here at North Shore Community College. So, Jamie, we're going to start with you, and I hope you can tell us a little bit about what your experience here at North Shore Community College has been like. I know that you recently completed your degree program here at North Shore Community College. We are so proud of you, and I've gotten to know you quite a bit as one of the trustees on our Board of Trustees, and I can tell all our listeners that this is a very accomplished and very confident woman. So with that introduction, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you happened to get to North Shore Community College, what you studied here, and how the student government experience has really supported and helped you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm very proud to be a part of this college, for one. When I was 22, I was working as a CNA, a nursing assistant, and didn't really have any real direction in my life. And I decided at that point that I was going to join the Marine Corps. So I went into the Marine Corps, and I was pretty successful at it and thought it was something that I wanted to do for the remainder of my career. And 2014 kind of adjusted my thoughts in that direction. And so I got out. I was stationed in California, so I stayed in California. Took another CNA course at the college there. Didn't really have any real direction in my life. And started working as a CNA there. Didn't like California. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do or why I was staying. So I had some friends out here. And I kind of a gypsy soul. But, to me it was more of... I wanted to pursue my education. And it was more of a... where does one go to pursue education? And really, that's all it was. And I've always been fascinated with the East Coast, and picked up in August of 2016 and drove all the way across the country with my television and my Chihuahua, and came out here and moved to Stoneham, which is where I have a few friends. Actually, when I first got out here, I started working again right away. I worked at Union ER as a CNA. And again, I didn't really know if I wanted to continue my career in the medical field. I was interested in law for a little bit. So I actually applied to Bunker Hill, and I was there because it was convenient. I was there for about 2 weeks, and I said, I'm just not ready for this. I don't want to just go through the motions to be going through the motions, because I felt like that was something I had to do. So I continued. I stopped Bunker Hill, and I continued to work, and I realized that there really is no future for me outside of education, and I wanted to be someplace where, Bunker is great, but Bunker is very much it's very much a commuter school in that I'd never felt a connection even in those 2 weeks, and it never felt something that I could call my educational home. So I continued to work, and that summer, I said, well, what's close to me? And I looked at Middlesex, and I looked at North Shore, and, I liked the opportunities that North Shore offered and a lot of the programs, and you also at that time offered the paralegal.
Yes.
And still do. So I originally applied into that program, and I was getting a lot of my gen eds taken care of, and I just fell in love with science.
Great.
And so I majored in health science. I plowed through a year and a summer. Now I just transferred to Suffolk, so technically graduated in December. And it's been an opportunity that I never knew that I needed. And when it comes to SGA, I was originally introduced by David Smith, who is now the SGA president. He said, I like you. I think I'm running for president, and I think you'd make a great trustee. And I said, I have no idea what that means. So, at the time, it was more of I felt like I was lacking what I had in the military, and that was the opportunity to serve and be a part of something higher than just myself. And so, I said, I'll run. I'll see what happens. I don't know how qualified I am. And I did. And much to my surprise, I was elected in this role. And it's been busy. But it has given me qualities, especially leadership ones, that I've just been able to build on, and in retrospect, it's opened doors to me even in Suffolk that I didn't know were there, and Suffolk gave me a lot of merit scholarships, and they also gave me a trustee scholarship.
Oh, that's terrific! Yeah.
So I didn't apply. I was not anticipating that. So it also, beyond just myself, and it also gives me an opportunity to give back, and North Shore being something that I see as a family away from family, truly. I want the opportunity to be able to reach out to students the best that I can in the short time that I'm here, and hopefully leave something to oncoming trustees that will be viable for them to use as well.
Well, I can say, Jamie, that you have made a difference on the trustee board. And for our listeners, they should know that she's very active on the board. She is truly bringing the student experience to those kinds of decisions that are made at the Board of Trustees. And we've grown to really love having you there, and we're going to miss you when you move on. But you certainly are a terrific role model for opening yourself up to leadership and taking the plunge. And, that's what I think is so great about the Student Government Association. Thank you, Jamie, for sharing all that information. And I'm sure the listeners are just as impressed with you as I have been. But we're going to find out a little bit more about Seth now. So, Seth, I'd like you to go next. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to North Shore Community College, how you found it here, what you're studying, and how you got involved in Student Government Association?
Sure. First, I'd like to say thank you for having me on your show today.
You're welcome. Glad you're here.
Well, let's see. I originally started at North Shore in 2017. I was the class of 2017, so I started that fall. And actually, I was originally in the vet tech program. However, after a semester of doing that, I just realized, this is not really something I'm passionate about. So I actually did love a math for business and finance course I was taking as part of that program. So I figured, well, this is interesting. I really like this. I'm good at it. So why not try something on the business end of things? So that's how I ended up in the accounting program, which almost 2 years later to this point, I am wrapping up. This is my last semester at North Shore.
Well, I'm glad that you learned that the vet tech was not for you and that there was something else that interested you more. I mean, that's part of coming to college.
Yeah.
That's really exploring what the options are and finding something that you love and want to commit to. So how did you get to the SGA?
Well, actually, that's a funny story. I've been part of the environmental club for some time now. It's a great club. So I was actually at SGA as a representative of the environmental club, and the current, about to be former, chief of staff, Louissaint, he actually, I was there, I was at the meeting to present what the environmental club was actively doing at the time, and he said to me at the end of the meeting, came and said, we have an open position, you should join. So he kind of roped me into it, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll hear him out, see what he has to say. And the vice president of finance position was open at the time. It's like, well, vice president of finance, I'm an accounting student.
Seems to match.
Seems to fit. So I, some they decided they could tolerate me, and I was brought on board at the beginning of last semester. So I'm fairly new, and so it's been a great experience so far. It's opened me up to a whole new world of people at the school. It's got me much more engaged and made me realize what a great community we have here.
Well, it's wonderful. I'm really glad that you shared that with us. Thank you for that. And so, Larissa, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got to North Shore Community College, and, what you found here and how you found your way to the Student Government Association.
Well, thank you for having me here. I graduated high school in the year of 2017, and I took that first semester to work on myself and figure out what exactly I wanted to do. I was always interested in law, but wanted to reevaluate, think of every option on the table. And that's when I found North Shore. I applied. I got accepted. It's close to my house, short commute, affordable college. I thought, why not? And so I am in the paralegal studies program, hopefully going to law school. That's
Wonderful.
my dream.
Wonderful.
My first few semesters here, the only thing I really did was Multicultural Society. And so when I got an email out of the blue saying, hey, you should think about SGA. And I looked at all the positions available, and I think there was only one that I saw fit for myself, and that was the Vice President of Culture and Inclusion. And so when I won, I was ecstatic, of course. And I really wanted to change how little I was being involved and interact more with other students and engage in the campus community as a whole. And so as part of my role of culture and inclusion, I tied that into my participation with Multicultural Society and really made the role my own. And I also serve on the Diversity Leadership Council, and we talk about diversity, inclusion, and just general issues that affect not only the staff and the faculty, but students as well.
Well, that's wonderful. I can see that all three of you have something in common, and that is you didn't see yourself in that position, but you took a leap of faith when someone invited you to come on board, and with a willingness and a curiosity to explore it. And I think that's really what's needed. So tell me a little bit about what's coming up on the SGA agenda this semester.
So for me, I've kind of dived into this exploration of what I call the student trustee box. It's a way that, the first semester I just call look, learn, and listen.
Right.
Finding out how my role is here and in which way I need to adjust. And I realized there wasn't an opportunity for me to strongly connect or communicate with students. So we have ordered, I believe, 4 kind of lock comment boxes, and we're going to place those up in the library and the OSC offices on both campuses. And hopefully it'll be an opportunity for students to reach out to us as students and not, I know they're always welcome to go to deans and professors, right, of course, but, we want to be involved, and we are here to help, and we want to put that out there, even if you don't see our face every day. And so that's something, that has actually come to fruition, and they're here and they're ready to go. And I hope that it's successful, and that hopefully the next trustee, will be able to utilize it. Anybody have anything?
Larissa, how about you? What's coming up on your agenda?
As far as my agenda, what I am really focused on right now is the Multicultural Society. We are planning a cultural fair to be held at the end of this semester. So that's really all I'm really doing.
Now, that's a big job and a lot of work. So thank you for that.
I'm up for the work.
Seth, how about you?
Well, I'm fairly new, so this last semester has been, similar. Look, learn, and listen, and see what my job is supposed to be and what I can make of it. And this semester, some of the initiatives I kind of want to start looking at are working with all the different various clubs at North Shore, and seeing, what if there's anything they need, how we can better help them be successful.
Great.
Financially and in other regards, and see how we can better help our student initiatives and student organizations succeed.
Well, I commend all of you for thinking of others, not just yourself, and giving your time and your generous spirit to help the other students here at North Shore Community College. I would love to close this out by inviting our listeners to get involved in the Student Government Association. So can someone tell me how they go about that?
Well, for the most immediate information, and the best person to reach out to is Jacob Rockwell. He is a staff member and coordinator of the Office of Student Engagement. And his email address is jrockwell, JROCKWEL, @northshore.edu.
Wonderful. Well, I hope anyone listening who's excited about the possibilities, even maybe just a little curious, maybe even a little nervous, like some of you were, about putting yourself out there, that they think about getting involved in the Student Government Association. And I want to thank you, Jamie, Seth, and Larissa, for coming here today on this podcast today to educate our listeners about Student Government Association at North Shore Community College. And I commend you truly for the caring that you've displayed, the dedication, and all that you do to promote the student body and the experience here. This is Dr. Pat Gentile, president of North Shore Community College. I hope you learned something new and helpful today. If you're enjoying this podcast, I invite you to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play, and be sure to leave a review or a suggestion of what you'd like to know more about in future episodes. So until next time, ciao.